Right. I said that I would. The next video would be where I will sort of say why I think a person, just like me, normal person, not an expert, might have an idea um, diet that could help people with diabetes more than the experts have. Not, not that I've got an advantage over the experts, but that the experts haven't got the answer yet anyway. So there's not much to beat, as it were. Yeah, about a week or so ago, I was interested, and still am, but in chess. And I was looking at the current world champion is a man called Magnus Carlsen. Well, actually, he used to be, but I think he lost. He's lost the one where the long form play, and now he's still the champion over the shorter duration. But I think he's only not the long term one because he decided he didn't want to compete for that anymore. He finds it too onerous because he's been doing it for many years. He was like a child prodigy. Now, in one of the games he played, he he opened with a very unusual move. Now, I looked it up on a website where um, the website is it's got, what is it, close to, or it might actually even exceed 4 million games that have been played at the sort of competition level, and it's like a big database. So you can put the move in and you can see how many people out of 4 million games at the expert sort of level, grandmaster level, and so on. Well, not necessarily that level, perhaps, but sort of high competition level. You can see how many people have played that move before. So anyway, the move he played, which was to move one of the pawns forward, but only by one, and not in the centre like you normally do on the D or the E file, but I think it was like over. It was either the one. What would it be? A B C D E F G. I think it was G or H, and he moved it one forward. Anyway, I had a look on the database, and it's like the 16th most played move. So not completely obscure, but um, not one that's played very often. So the other person done their response, which was like the fairly typical response. I think it was like the move most often played against that move. Anyway, Magnus Carlsen then played his second move. Now, his second move was also not a commonly played move from that position. So he'd gone down from there being like 4 million potential games that could have played whatever route he's going. The first move took it down quite a lot. But by the time the second move had been played, I think he was down to something like 4 games out of 4 million. So he was going a route that is only gone along by 1 in 1 million experts. So he was already treading into unusual territory. By the third move, he was into, because the person responded again in the more usual way. And by the third move, he was in virgin territory, as it were. Now, there are some lines, like he will on other occasions follow a line. I forget what they're called now. What do they call it when you follow? Anyways, the opening moves that down some lines that have got various names, you can play several moves, both sides, making maybe 6, 7, 8 moves down a well-studied route before there's any deviation from it. Some have been studied, like what is that one, the main? Um, it's not going to come to me now. Um, Sicilian, that's it. Now that's like I think the most common opening, and it's the defence. I think it's for black, but can't remember for sure. Sicilian defence, but it's a very common opening. So its main lines will be well studied by the professionals. But you see, Magnus Carlsen, he wants to go an unusual route because he's playing people who know all the opening moves and can counter him with what's been studied to be the best. If he can take them off piste, as it were, which I think means if you're skiing and you go off the main route, that's called off piste. I think so. Anyway, he wants to go off piste because he would think to himself, okay, I'm probably the better player out of us two, but if I play a common line, I can't show my genius. I can't excel. So he deliberately plays unusual lines, and immediately within a few moves, he's in virgin territory. And then the other person he's playing can no longer play the standard moves. So they might have been studying chess for years, but all of a sudden they're in a new game. They don't know what to do. And especially in speed chess, where you've got to make your decisions fast, it's very difficult for them. But the point is that even when people like experts study anything, they tend to go down certain routes. And so it is with diet. You'll have people who years ago might have said, low fat, and then it would have been extensively studied by the experts. More recently, low carb would have been studied extensively. But then amongst the low carbers, you get some people who begin to lose faith with pure low carb, or they might be low carb originally might be lower than 100 grams, say, of carb per day. And then they might say, below 50. And then there's a subgroup there who branch off and go into the idea of ketosis, where you get down very low in carbs, maybe below 30 grams or something like that, depends on person to person. But you then get into ketosis. Then some people say, that's not working for me, so they try something else. And you get the carnivore people open up their ideas. Let's all eat meat. And it's often variations on a theme, and it's much studied. And the experts, most of them will be looking down those lines and using their knowledge. But not many people go off piste, even amongst the professionals, the experts. It could be that there's millions of them, as in the case with this chess example, and that literally out of 4 million games that had been played, no one had played this move. But anyone can. That's the point. Anyone can do what Magnus Carlsen had done. But of course, most people wouldn't make it work. That's why they wouldn't play it. But anyone can go a different route. And the thing is with the experts, they're reluctant to do so. I mean, you won't get funding for novel ideas and so on and so forth. It's always difficult to break new territory. Most people tend to follow the territory that's been pursued and try to do a variation on it. And that really is why I think that the experts, I'm not saying that they can't find the answer, but as yet they haven't. So they're not really providing the solutions. So that leaves it open. Someone can, to go back to the chess analogy, there may be a good route and someone who isn't an expert might be prepared to try it. There is a one-off, and everyone's following the experts for understandable reasons. But it doesn't mean, like, until the experts find the solution, which they haven't really yet, anyone else is free to go off piste and try something else. Now, right, I'm up to my 10 minutes and I don't really like to go beyond. So I'll finish it there, but I will, continue with my idea in my next video.